Hi, and welcome to the Waterford Global Schools 2023 workshop.
This year we focused on the Sustainable Development Goals and sustainable transportation.
This programme is run by the Waterford Sustainable Living Initiative, better known as SHLI, and has been running now for over 20 years.
We would like to thank WorldWise Global Schools for funding this project.
This year, transition year students from 7 Waterford schools met to learn and teach together, including
Our Lady of Mercy, Newtown,
De La Salle,
presentation,
Abbey Community College, Ursuline.
We would like to start with a global warm-up activity designed to activate your knowledge about climate change.
What percentage of the cars on the road are electric? A, 5%, B, 10%, C, 20%, or D, 50%?
The answer is 5%. By 2030, we hope to have 1 million electric cars on the road, which is half of all cars. By 2050, we hope to have all petrol and diesel cars off the road in Ireland.
How much did Ireland spend on fossil fuel subsidies in 2019? A, 100,000, B, 1 million, C, 1 billion, or D, 2.5 billion?
The right answer is 2.5 billion. Fossil fuel subsidies are designed to keep petrol costs down so people will keep driving them.
What percentage of our electricity comes from renewable sources? A, 12%, B, 23%, C, 38%, or D, 42%?
The right answer is 38%, which is great, but we still have some work to do before we reach the government's goal of 80% of our energy needs being met by sustainable alternatives by 2030.
What sector contributes to the most greenhouse gas emissions in Ireland? A, agriculture, B, transportation, C, energy, or D, residential?
The answer is agriculture at 38%, and this is primarily due to our large farming population, so it will be hard to bring this down completely, but there are definitely things we can do.
how many litres of water does it take to make a car? A, 100, B, 1000, C, 4000, or D, 150,000?
This is what we call our hidden water footprint, which refers to how much water it takes to make our consumer products. The correct answer is 150,000 litres.
You'd be surprised at how much water we use to make the simplest of our products. For example, 10,000 litres of water is used just to make one pair of jeans.
Although those problems might seem big, we have the Sustainable Development Goals to help us guide us towards the solutions facing the world right now.
The Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs, are also known as the Global Goals and sometimes Agenda 2030.
They were passed by the United Nations in 2015, and so pretty much every country has agreed to try and make them a reality by 2030.
They cover everything from climate change to poverty to education to health. They are told us everything goes with 169 indicators. They just help to tell us whether or not we are doing a good job.
Have a think. What do you think are the world's biggest problems right now? There's a pretty good chance that the Sustainable Development Goals address these problems.
This year in Global Schools we focus on sustainable transportation. What are some ways that people in your town or city get around?
This can include cars, buses, taxis, scooters, trains, bikes, and even your feet. However, all of these come along with their own problems. How do you get around?
Even though walking and cycling are best for the environment, they can be hard for long distances or if the weather is really bad.
Buses and trains are great, but they can run at awkward times or not be on time.
How do you think we can solve the problems of our transportation sector while at the same time making it more sustainable?
We think that increasing our access to sustainable transportation is the best thing that could happen.
Like having more bike lanes.
Or electric buses.
Or decreasing the cost of electric vehicles.
Or ditching fossil fuel subsidies.
Or making fares more affordable.
And making sure everyone in Ireland is able to access safe and reliable public transportation.
Ireland's Sustainable Mobility Plan 2023 to 2030 has as its goal to get petrol and diesel cars off the road, or at least as many of them as we can.
We also addressed a couple of big questions that really made us think.
First, we talked about whether or not Ireland should solve its own problems before helping others.
There were a lot of opinions on this topic, but for the most part, we realised that in Ireland we have a lot.
and despite the fact we have our own problems, we shouldn't let those stop us from helping out people in the other parts of the world.
We also talked about banning cars for any journeys under 2 kilometres.
Although it would be hard to enforce, we think generally it would be great if people would stop using their cars for those short distances.
It doesn't make sense for the environment, and it doesn't make sense for our finances.
Thanks for listening, and I hope that you've learned something from us today. If you want to know more about the work we do, check out Schlee's website, schleewaterford.ie. Fast fashion and overconsumption are wrecking the planet. Did you know that over 110,000 tonnes of clothes are wasted every year and dumped in landfills? Although boycotting fast fashion altogether is the ideal option, sustainably made clothing is quite hard to find and quite expensive. Instead, I urge people to buy clothes secondhand, in charity shops and places like Depop. Focus on finding your own style and building a capsule wardrobe, instead of following fast-dying trends. So you're not sitting in front of a full wardrobe yelling, "I have nothing to wear!" By doing this, you can look good, save some money, and help save the planet.
Each molecule of methane is equivalent to 2 molecules of CO2. The average dairy cow produces up to 330 grams of methane every day. As a largely agricultural country, this is a huge contribution to climate change. To solve this issue, we need to incorporate seaweed into the diet of cows. This will reduce the average emissions to 52% and the emissions of each cow up as high as 92%.
Fossil fuels are foul, so I think we should stop using cars as much as we can and walk or cycle instead. Only fools burn fossil fuels.
The oil subsidies for last year were 2.5 billion from governments. I believe that these oil companies do not need any of this funding. If this funding went into electric vehicles and other vehicles of the like, I believe that the world could be a better place.
The biggest threat to our next generation is climate change. As you all know, everything on the planet needs fresh water to survive. The way that climate change is affecting our planet is causing huge droughts throughout our fresh water supply. There are many ways to battle this, one of them being upgraded irrigation system and the second one being recycling wastewater.
Menstrual products have a greater effect on this planet than people think. The world's oceans and marine life are also being affected by this. There's 28 tons of menstrual waste in landfills. And since the product contains plastic, it will never break down. Up to 11,000 of these products are being used in just one lifetime. That is 5 pieces of menstrual waste found per 100 meters of beach cleaned. Now, how we can fix this problem is by using eco-friendly menstrual products, like the menstrual cup. It is better for the environment and better for your body and better for your pocket in the long run.
What are the effects of decreasing biodiversity on our environment? Since 1970, the Earth's bountiful wildlife has seen a devastating decrease of 70%, more than 2/3 of the Earth's wildlife population. Naturally, the burning question is why? Well, let me tell you. The main direct cause, with an estimated 30% of the blame, goes to land use change, such as the conversion of wild land to oil plantations. This eliminates natural habitats and decreases species. Following at a close second, not that it's a competition, for 20% of the blame is overexploitation. This supplies us with food, medicine and wood, but this regulates ecosystem functions and eliminates habitats. These two causes both also undermine the ecosystem's ability to regulate greenhouse gases. And what does this do? It accelerates climate change. So how can we stop this devastating loss of biodiversity? You can support local and regional projects such as the BEST initiative, and you can also spend your money on fair trade, sustainable products. If we all do something small, we can help to solve a very big problem.